Oh, hello guys, or my fellow fans, well anyway, this is Dusty Circuit here doing, I guess, sort of a long overdue tour of my latest base on Autcraft. Firstly, this build is big. Like, currently, I know I could turn my render distance up higher, but there's no point because on the server it's actually limited to 10 chunks, so I won't ever see more than 10 chunks at a time, even if I turn this up to say 16. Here has to load everything back, but I won't see any more than the 10 chunks. But wow. Like, there's a breathtaking view there, I would say. Kind of a funny story how this was sort of a group, like a joint project, I guess I could say, between me, Dusty Circuit here, and Modcure 1001, formerly Modcure 101, but he changed his name to 2 zeros for some reason. And N1N or Nin, formerly Ninjago. I'm not sure why he changed his name either, but I guess he wanted to make it shorter. And it's definitely one of the biggest builds I've done on the server to date, and I guess also the latest build I've done. I have not built anything cool since. Mind the lag spikes of doom. Mind the lag spikes of doom. There are some parts of this build that are quite laggy, but anyway, it is a cool, neat build. I say we start at the base and work our way up, sort of like from a tour perspective. Anyway, this is the very bottom of the build. Like, I guess this is sort of I should call this sort of an observatory or lookout place. I'm not sure what you call it, but just like a gallery, like a viewing gallery, I would suppose. And we do have a beacon that literally goes up through the entire build, but this ain't no ordinary beacon. There's that what I was looking for. You see all this redstone circuitry here, and what does this lever do? Yeah. There's, unfortunately, the effect only makes it up so maybe a third of the way up the beacon, then you don't see it anymore, but I still suppose it looks pretty cool. And I wanted to do full rainbow, but due to space constraints, like in that area underneath, I had to keep it a bit more simpler than that. With only cycling between like 3 different colors, but still pretty cool nonetheless. this is, I suppose, kind of a, there are still many of these builds, parts of the build that are unfinished, and I suppose this could be maybe like a small storage area, or maybe a room for some other purpose, but it's empty right now. Same as for this area, although I guess it can serve as another lookout. Oh, and about this beacon thing, the reason it has a lever to turn it off, well, on the server there is a rule to sort of limit lag, which, like, where you can't have redstone clocks running constantly, but, which means, unfortunately, we have to turn this off most of the time, but, say it's still a cool addition nonetheless. Oh, and these levels don't serve much purpose currently, but Ninjago's sort of wanting to convert them into farms, with, I guess, that lowest level being for crops, this for animals, and this area doesn't really have a purpose yet, but I guess it's mainly just decorative right now. But anyway, this is the first part of the base that actually does really serve a purpose. It currently houses the storage room, the main storage room, and an auto smelting room. I suppose we'll look at the storage room first. Well, this is really no ordinary storage room. It is an automatic sorting storage room. So, like, I can just dump these items in here and they will get automatically sorted to either where they need to go or the miscellaneous down there if there isn't a place for them. And not sure if you can tell, but I guess you can tell by my FPS and the upper left that this is pretty laggy, especially when it's on. Say definitely probably the laggiest part of the base, apart with I would say this would be actually the laggiest part of the base, with the second laggiest being there's that area near the top that we'll get to hopefully shortly, like once we get through the rest of the build. Like, Ninjago, or Nin, is really into head collecting. He basically has this big, like, head collection he's been pretty much building up pretty much, I guess, since the heads were added to the server, like as the plugin that makes the heads was added, and also when the new shiny heads were added, he's been collecting them. And me and Ninjago actually did do a tour video together before, but let's say I may have made a bit of a boo-boo, and I've actually left my microphone on mute during like half of the recording, so you would have still heard Ninjago, but you wouldn't have heard me. So I've decided to just do my own recording and then just edit, and I may just edit in various parts of Ninjago's video, or the one I did with him. Anyway, this is the smelting room. Anyway, well, the fuel input, like, would be here in these chests. The like items you're smelting go in here and the output is here. I suppose I could demonstrate that. Just let me grab some stuff to smelt. Well, anyway, how this works is you basically, I have this lock here, like this lever is a lock that basically stops items, stops items from getting drained out of the chest while you're loading it. One moment. Okay, continuing on from here, we have our chest loaded now. So to start the smelting, you just flick this and they'll start draining in. And here a bit of minecart and redstone clock action, and these things should start coming in shortly. And it's pretty quick, actually. And here's a bit of the inner workings of this thing. And you can see basically all the magical hoppers and the redstone and minecart stuff that's making this work. And this is basically actually sort of a one moment. This smelter is basically it's just basically like a rendition of Ethos or Ethos Labs design that he made in his. He basically made one of these in his Let's Play world, just as like a big smelter for just bulk smelting tons of items at once. Say if you need tons of glass for a project or tons of smooth stone, this is the tool for the job. His, I think, was I think 6 more furnaces longer than this, but I've had to make my version of it shorter so it fits in this area. You can hear it clicking away and putting the stone in the chests. So going onwards, this point here is actually the point at which the effect of the beacon stops. So I just put these blocks here to change it back to the solid colors. So I figured that at least looks better than the glitch. Is basically what would happen from this point upward. It would just stay on the solid color and I just feel like that this looks better than that. And as you can see, this staircase that has been continuing since the bottom of the base has ended up here, and now it's up to this wider staircase. This area here doesn't serve very much purpose other than this actually was a build, of course, one of Ninjago's ideas, where you basically put blocks. It's supposed to be a concrete maker where you there would be water somewhere here, and then you'd place the powdered concrete, and then it would harden into the concrete blocks and then get pushed along these pistons here, and then it would make like a sort of a cube thing out here. I may edit in the part of the video where Ninjago demonstrates this, so safe. So I guess I'd be pause here, and you can watch the part where Ninjago shows it off, and then from there we'll continue on.
Yeah, this is just a concrete powder farm. Usually there would be water up top here, and it would be flowing down into this hole, and you would just spam concrete powder at this blue bulb block where it's at basically, and it would instantly turn the concrete powder into the concrete, and then it'd push it along. But my idea, it's not that good because you could usually just do that like with a piece of water and then a block right next to it, and just hold left and right click. It'd basically just be like that.
Anyway, that was that. Oh, and another thing, the actual bottom of the base, it was pretty much near the bedrock level, or what would be bedrock if we were in the overworld, but we're in the end currently, or so it would be the void, technically. But as you'll be able to see, once we get to the top, we'll be near the uppermost limit. And this is sort of another cool area. And it's definitely one of the coolest parts of the base, I would say. These, if you're wondering, are actually map art that we made of just the Autcraft logo with on a blue background. They say they'll make pretty cool decoration throughout the base. And this is just sort of an area underneath. And these, actually, if you're wondering, they're basically like an elytra launcher. You press this button, and then it would lodge you in the cobweb, and you're supposed to rock it off. Like, it's like once you get stuck in the cobweb, you could just spam the rock your fireworks, and it would just shoot you off. Like, it would basically send you flying out on your way. It's just pretty cool. This is by far the, I guess the highlight of the base, pretty much. It's just this big area of, like, grass and trees, and, with, I guess the idea we were going for, this is sort of like a castle, but it's sort of like floating, like, in space, I guess. So sort of like a cross between a castle and a space station. Well, the name of the space was just Station X. So Ninjago is actually the one responsible for all these like decorations around the place, like the car and I think that path and that like garage there. This is it's definitely a more recent addition. He did mention he was going to make an aquarium, so I suppose this is where he's putting it. At least he did mention that to me. I'd say it's definitely a cool a look to it. Like, I guess that's going to be for like the new fish in 1.13 when 1.13 comes to Autcraft. Oh, and I just forgot, in order to get inside the tower, you have to go from this way. Oh, and these signs here, these are just sort of some famous quotes from AF that I felt like that of course we included. First, I'm going to pause in the video so you can read it. And then feel free to pause the video at each of these to read them in more detail. Oh, and to get up, of course, you go up these ladders and open, and don't fall through the middle, of course, like I just did. And up these ladders and up this staircase, and now we're almost at the top. Now we're almost at the top. Period. If I cannot fall off. And that, by the way, that's the top of the world. Like we're basically almost at build limit here. And look at that view. Basically, another thing we have in this space is we have like these areas where we customize to our own liking, sort of based on our I guess our styles, I guess. This is mine, just has some redstone stuff and you know, another area. But Ninjago's is much more detailed, and he put more work into his.